So we were taught in school that the Native Americans were killed off mostly by diseases brought over from Europe to the Americas by the Europeans. And that apparently, according to this website, it killed 90% of the indigenous population, which apparently was nearly 55 million people. And diseases like smallpox, measles, influenza, all that were responsible for the death. And apparently there was a global cooling trend because of how fast the population declined over here in the Americas from north to south. Okay, how coincidental is it that the Europeans could just come and their mere presence just wiped out a whole people? It didn't wipe out the Chinese or the Japanese or the Koreans or anybody over there who was in Asia. It didn't wipe out none of the Africans who they came in contact with, which, by the way, the excuse they want to make for why that didn't happen was well, they were already having contact with the Africans before. Okay, the Africans still should have been dying. Europeans should have been dying from getting malaria and all those other diseases you get from, by vectors of the mosquitoes and so on and so forth that they're not used to, but they didn't die in droves going over into Africa either. So it went to Australia. The indigenous Australians didn't all die from the disease, but specifically the Americans, and for all the way from North to South America, were dying from the diseases. Now, what about the American Indians that they were shipping out from America to Europe, to Africa, and to other places? That's part of what they call the Indian slave trade, the American Indian slave trade, which they don't really want to teach you about. Why didn't those people die? And if the Europeans were coming over here and they hardly knew how to survive, and the American indigenous people, which were really us, so-called black people who were not black, if we had to teach them how to survive over here, how are we teaching them how to survive while also dying from diseases and being killed off during raids, wars, scuffles, battles, while Europeans trying to come over here and conquer the land? Supposedly that's not really how it happened. They didn't come here guns blazing. They could barely survive a winter here. So they're lying. All these people, 55 to 60 million people, didn't die from no damn diseases. They were already over here. They're still here. They're us, the indigenous bronze population. They just lie about how many people. There's no way they could have known accurately how many people existed back then. They didn't have no census for that. And then they want to lie in this website and say that they